as you came up, or your piece, or your pieces, and the thought processes where you had there.
Thank you, McDonald. I would like to say, I think, motivation comes from within. I wrote about legacies, and obviously being a traditional leader myself, I got a background as far as legacies are concerned. I grew up in two different spheres of life. The laid back and also the modern setting. I've seen that in these two societies, I must say, we do come upon different challenges when it comes to family legacies. We've got people in families that believe that if my father has it all, I'll wait on it. And I've seen that, sorry to say this, probably it would touch on someone who is here. In most families, if the father is rich, the kids, they wait on the father. And when the father is poor, the kids fight to enrich their families. So somehow, if you are born in a rich family, obviously, your NKM is going to be very bad. So I decided to write, and also with my co-author here, to really touch on that and explain it further, and really elucidate on it and put it in perspective. So it's all about the mindset of families and the mindset of children, and what the father feels when he's gathering wealth for the children. But then what happens when the children get the wealth? That's the thing.
Quite interesting. I don't know if it's just me, but you touched a raw nerve there, Jack, because if you notice how traditionally you have companies that were built, and I'm going to speak for us people of the darker persuasion, I'll be politically correct. But if you notice, when the progenitor, when the starter dies, either there are going to be fights among the children, or it just fizzles out. There are some success stories, but generally, and I'll be quite interested too. Maybe if you could just go to that particular piece and read it a bit so that we can get what you meant there.
Legacy. The sweat of my labor, dreams of the feeble. For I give, but I do I regret. Wasted is the labor of the hardworking father. Seasons on the sun. You dream to take over. Wills to the next generation. A name carved on a stone. Craftiness of visions, of things that remain. Outliving the living. Enduring the ages. Not in silent reticence, but bold, unflinching conviction. My generation's beckoning to raise the bar. Legacy. Some through time perish, others in wealth and sin. Oh, that I would be quick. Courage to be true. Wisdom to fortify the plan. Love to hold those adored. Greed is still to mind the deep. Now in your hands, beware of the walls. Wisdom is torn by greed. Diluted vision. An assured path to anonymity. Above all else, not to betray love.
It's powerful. Well done. Next time we need to go to Patrick and just get to understand your contribution as well as your thoughts as you were coming up with your contribution.
Thanks, McDonald. It was about 1.5 weeks after I just buried my mom. So I got a message from Tendai requesting me to co-write a poem with using Gamze Marshall's language and perspective to life on a marital survivor, marital abuse survivor. So, all of us, one way or the other, we encounter dysfunctional marriages. We know somebody who knows somebody who it has happened to us. I'm somewhere there. So it was very emotional for me because I was grieving. Yes, I was grieving the passing on of my mother, grieving other things as well. And I had a concern that if I wrote this, it would be too personalized. So I eventually wrote it, but I was very reluctant. But the inspiration was I wanted to communicate authentic emotions that are not spoken. When people go through marital abuse, we kind of launder the experience so that it is acceptable. You know, the experiences, even if it's in a victim-friendly court or any other context, the emotions, the experiences are laundered for the benefit of the hearer. The one who is going through the abuse is not allowed to express the raw emotions of what, because you see, words are meant to paint pictures of what someone is going through. But in this environment, mainly patriarchal, but also moralized and moralizing, victims of marital abuse are not allowed to express exactly what they go through. So this is really, that was the experience that inspired me to write it. And people who know me ordinarily know that I'm not usually this raw.
Wow, sounds very intense. Would you like to take us through your piece?
I remember it was inspired by Damzo Marachera. So I'm just trying to put it into context so you understand where it's coming from. And actually, those are the first lines in House of Honor. The title, I got my things and left. I got my things and left. The bare things too unbearable to ignore. Knowing and eroding dignity shreds, clinging onto the matrimony of past pity, the kind that glaze out from fancy overpriced picture albums, cemeteries and monuments of lust, love, laughter, and every living sense of being alive. Instinct drove me out of that abusive hovel. My survival option was the shamed exit, messy suicide, and a third-class government funeral plan. Then my relations turned drama queens, threatening my corpse to lie in state till kingdom come, unless the damned partner married my corpse. But my people, but people married to fuck. Would his syphilitic phallus squirt into my desecrated humanity, into which he plunged even during my nature-granted monthly nights off? My tribesmen looked forward to cashing in a head of cattle on my death account. Damn them. They wanted me in the house of insanity, so they would strike a lotto jackpot by dangling my corpse and stick at him. Damn them. Is this why they told me to endure under the shelter of abuse? Shingirira. Chakafugidza Zimba. Nothing covers a naked and abusive marriage. Nothing. So I was to them some kind of cashback plan. No, I will not give these shameless pretenders the honor of relevance and importance at my funeral. I got my things and left. I left behind the empty shard of contrived religious dignity and social approval. I pegged into the torn plastic of my pride what remained of my shattered self-esteem, and the determination to screw my life the best way I knew how. No one would screw my life for me again. Never. Blame not the tribal losers masquerading as relatives or a dysfunctional spouse who relied on pornographic inspiration and aphrodisiacs sold in public toilets, reeking with vulgar graffiti painted by adult shit, and hid his sloppy manhood in his primary school boys' lunchbox of violent tantrums and drunken tirades. I would screw my life. Even if it's the last thing I did. The check demons pegged at my sanity, threatening, hell shall swallow me alive for defying their God's plan to fry me in the season fight of my doomed marriage. Damn them and their God. I'll screw my life my way with class and swag. Let me live my dream, even if it's a cursed nightmare. It will have my DNA. I'm done with morality presided over by sanctimonious self-righteous morons who parade unconsummated marriages while they privately ravish sordid side dishes. Yet they pick the first and last stone to cast at me for defying the terminal shame and indignity of a dysfunctional marriage. Fuck them.
Not holding anything back. No, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I found really interesting about this piece of poetry? I remember I'd written my section and I sent it to you. And you wrote and you sent it back. You were like, I don't know what you think. And I said, it's perfect. And that week, there was an article in the newspaper about an unfortunate lady who had died. And her family had kept her corpse for 5 days. And they were demanding for the husband to finish paying rora. And it just spoke so much to what your poem was saying, that, you know, some of our traditions are so unfair and focusing on the wrong things as opposed to addressing the real issues. And I do really like how you expressed this. It's raw. Nobody says, excuse me, can I please slap you tonight? Yeah, can you bend over? I just want to punch and burst your eardrum. Could you kindly let me throw you out the door? It's not like that. It's very raw. It's unapologetic. Thank you for being honest to that.
Well done. Wow. Yeah, I was just also processing it so profoundly. Donald, getting on to you now and your contribution to the publication.
Thank you. The first thing is that I've never been to an art school. I'm actually a forensic scientist, a forensic biologist, and yeah, I'm the CSI guy. Yeah. So basically, poetry to me is all about studying patterns, understanding the changing paradigms, and implications to the society as a whole. So you don't really have to be talented to write. You just have to understand what is happening around you, and then you paint it in your own way, how you perceive it and how you see it. So that was the first dimension that I wanted to bring to this book, how I perceive the world, how I see things. So from there, I worked on quite a number of poems as is indicated in this book, just trying to bring the other dimension that people may ignore. So at the end of the day, I was really happy when you said your name is McDonald and I am Donald. But I was a bit worried when you said you are working on your book for 10 years. We see things every day, we have to talk about them, we have to write about them, we have to paint a picture. So the whole idea is about representing today, tomorrow, in what we put down in pen and paper. So that was the scope. So basically, there are quite a number of things in terms of abuse that I wrote about in this book, as alluded poems in the book. But one that I think I would love to recite to the audience is the one written which all love.
Go for it. Sure.
Before Donald reads, I'm kind of interjecting here. Virtual Love was written, the way we wrote it was I wrote my version of Virtual Love first. And I sent it to Donald, who promptly sent a response back. So I think maybe if we read it in that order, you'll get the sense of banter going between me and him, me and Donald. So I will read Virtual. It's near the front if you've got a copy. I'll recite it. It's that hour again. Heart stroke clicks. Center stage, mouse gleefully glides. No church, no choir. Low, a single pew. Clattering keys, Cupid's arrow resurrect. Shoot true, shoot straight, my one desire. Soar high through the mangled web. Leap over clouds and titanium stars. Node to deliver a heart. Frozen at times your visage appears, melting at once walls built to fire. Mechanical stutters interrupt, punctuate. Network conspiracies we chide at once. No bot can quench our love. Passion so fierce brews longing intense. Distance the merciless sadistic guard. Till pandemics relent or embargoes lift. Banish to the clouds this piercing stings. Forlorn love, vicious rumors foretell. Of you, smitten by another, and me, obscure. There is no vaccine, venomous viruses spew from mouths of the lonely who long lost in love. And add no fuel to their wrath, beloved of mine. Blue tick and repost those flying arrows. Guard on your honor our suite of content. I long for your touch, in the warmth of your flesh, a gentle caress at your whisper's breath, to feel the strength of your assuring embrace. I yearn for, thirst for, the pursing of our lips, tongues and tango, dizzying heady delights. I won't hold back, no, I won't hesitate. Quiver though I might, make no mistake, consummately entangled, our love shall perfect. And Donald had a befitting response.
I don't want to waste your time, I just want to maintain the flow. Right. In temporary existence and full of uncertainty, under attack from the social fabric, but socialnessly holding on, a construct of virtual courage, story of virtual love. The emotional matrix triggered in space and time by words and filtered visuals, so much a feeling of the imagination, so imagined that it became real. Distance defied by technology, but it's never secure. It's visual, it could be hacked. Keeps you glued, in fact, hypnotized. You lose focus in anticipation, expectations rise high, gripped in euphoria, you get carried away, soaked in the nucleus of the unbelievable, made possible, electricity and connectivity, pushing you into the deep sea, sweating while texting, yet excited in anticipation. Is visual, not real. Something to ignore, something to forget. Ugly and nasty, this quarter enters a palace. Through a text, a princess miles away is charmed. But is this real? Can a princess come down to the valley, down to the slums? You call it love. I like to be truthful. It's virtual love. Accidental, not intended, mingling gone wrong because of the loneliness in the palace. One who makes the princess smile wins her heart. But is he royalty? Is he perfect? Is he sworn of the same fabric, the fabric of love? Or is he after the palace, running away from poverty, in pursuit of glitter and pomp? Let it pass, it won't hurt. Breathe. That's okay, it's fine. It's virtual, not real. A temporary attachment to a character not in your reach. Your love is an arm's length away. Turn around, That's all that you must see. Don't meditate on the imaginary. Emancipate yourself from visual slavery. It appears like something. It's nothing. It's a non-event. It's pain. Nothing to feel good about. Bittersweet interaction. Let it go. So there's a certain pattern that we wanted to bring in poetry, in art. So what I believe in is that the way I write, or the way any other poet can write, the understanding that you get of this poem, or the interpretation that you attach to it, actually I would put 6 other interpretations on top of that. It's just the mood that you will have on the particular day that you'll be reading this poem. So I would say, if you read through this book, you will get an interpretation, and you read it again tomorrow, you get another interpretation, you get another understanding. So at the end of the day, you might be reading this book for the next 10 years or so and learning new things. There are different patterns, there are different things that are being brought out in this book. But we captured quite a lot. Thank you.
Wow. You know, if I had been told that you're not going to a book launch but an emotional roller coaster, maybe I would have thought twice about coming here, because the things that I'm hearing are quite intense. Then of course, Kunapashe, just coming over to you and your contribution.
All right, thank you very much. I believe that art for art's sake is like a deodorized dog shit. Art must have a purpose to show the weaknesses, the goodness of life in society. So as an artist, I believe an artist is a ruler who mirrors the society, what is happening, injustice, be it political, social, or religious. So in the poem Tears of a Troubled Woman, so in the poem Tears of a Troubled Woman, we wrote about a troubled woman, a woman who was being oppressed by his husband. So we were trying to mirror a society that must not promote domestic violence, abuse towards women. So maybe I will go through the poem to express.
Test it. 1, 2. Can you hear me? 1, 2. Oh, there we go. That's much better. I don't think.
So I'll go through the poem, Tears of a Troubled Woman. You misled my heart and made me believe in the false dogma of love. With a fragile soul, smashed into pieces, unrepairable, I've become a chronic demon. Not willingly, it's you who made me the person I am today. My heart is in conflict with my head. I want to leave, but I have to stay. Stockholm syndrome, the scourge of my soul. I wish I could see past the little child abandoned at birth, the budding teen bullied for late blooming, the aspiring actor frustrated at every turn. Past all that and face you. Instead, my sympathies lies with you, nursing your ego and not my broken nose. So in this poem, we were trying to portray a woman who was being abused by her husband. So as the title speaks, we're trying to give a woman a voice in society to show how she was being abused by her husband. So we're just trying to say, a woman, you have to speak in society. You have to speak, be it in politics, religion, or in society. So we were just trying to empower women to speak up for themselves as a form of empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cindy. Now, getting back to Tendai, and I know it's difficult to say which one of my babies in here, speaks to me the most. I'm sure there are quite a lot, but maybe I can say the one that's close to home in this point in time.
There's two. I can't really make my mind up which one to recite for you. But I think I'll go for a topic we haven't covered so far, and that I believe as a nation and a continent, we don't talk about much. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to give you the background on the poem. It's titled, Who You Gonna Tell? And I will recite it as I wrote it. Might be quite raw emotional. A speck of light. Oh, what glorious hope. Drawn ever closer, nearer. Ebbing, piercing pain from flesh to soul. Bruised, broken, soiled, bloodied, howling, screeching inferno of tears. My hair hurts, invading spaces it shouldn't be, itching, burning, searing, scalding. Look at what you've done, you worthless cloth. You made a grown man cry from his single eye. Now you've seen the sacred laid eyes on the eye that is hidden. It will follow you till death do us part. Who you gonna tell where the eye won't see? Hurry along, you wretched creature. Your stench will betray you. Take it from me. All will recoil from the witch you are. Parents, friends, and foe alike. None to comfort till you rot in hell. Run. Tender feet. Run. Carry this broken frame far away from here. I promise to be good and do all my homework, tidy up my room, and never speak out of turn. I won't raise my face to the light, lest the eye should return in search of innocence in places untold.
That's quite intense. Maybe get the backstory to that.
When I wrote this poem, I was reflecting on so many of the stories that I hear, so many of the books that we read, and the things that people confide in secret. This is a molested little child who's seen the eye, the single eye of a man, and lives in torment and is running away in torment. This child is a boy. I think we read this and we think it's wrong. Child abuse is wrong. Sexual molestation of children is wrong. Not speaking about it as a nation enables this type of disgusting behavior to continue. It must find no space, no hiding place. You know, when you meet a 40-year-old woman, 50-year-old woman, 60-year-old woman, weeping, a 40-year-old man, 50-year-old man, 60-year-old man, ashamed to talk about an injustice perpetuated against them because the society we have does not receive your words or even want to acknowledge your pain. That must come to an end as involvement in Africa and the personal.
I for one, you know, I don't know about people that are with us tonight. I for one specifically feel that I think this is the kind of publication that everyone needs to get their hands on, because these are issues that are swept under the rug that need to be addressed. The elephant in the room proverbially. And I think it's time as a nation we get this word out. So the time will come, you need to get a copy, and don't get a copy for just yourself. Get a copy for one person, get a copy for two people, get a copy because this definitely needs to go out. And as we're just rounding up this part of the conversation, I'll just allow each author, and then of course finally tonight, just give your final remarks, you know, pertaining to your heart and your soul, you know, concerning the work and, you know, what you anticipate it will do. And I'll just start off with Koda Basha.
Thank you. I don't have anything to say, but what I can say is that I just want to keep on writing, stay with the paper, in order to give people a voice, to fight for their rights, to fight for what they believe in, and to correct every wrong that is being done in society. And I believe that art is vast and art is diversity, is diverse. So I don't have anything to say about it. I just say, let's words speak for themselves.
Thank you. Round of applause. Then we go to Donald from there. Then Patrick, and then after that, Jack, then Tim.
Thank you. The first thing that I would want to say is that for my work as a scientist, I have seen that some things in terms of crime during the investigation of crime. But what I can say is that one thing for certain, the burden of the writer is to carry the emotion of everyone and to put it on paper. So when you look at the people who are writing or who are coming up with publications, you should look at people who are very, very emotional. So those people, you guys, after reading this, just check up on us. And we are loaded with emotions. And the only way we can put them across is through the writings that we put. So guys, check on us. We are very emotional. Thank you.
As I reflect on this piece of art, I realized that Tendai was very, very bold. Usually, what you want is music these days, the top of collaborations. usually collaboration between an established artist and one who's trying to make their way into the frame. She brought protocol. She's brought in people with unheard voices, which I think brings a certain sense of it's exploding into the space, and as you can pick up from the vibe, it's unapologetic. And, I think it's a piece of art that will demand respect. We are also very grateful to Mama, Goshi team, putting faith in this kind of work. You know, Goshi, it's a legacy of this art. And the moment you mention Goshi, they will not want to attach themselves to someone else that is less than this. I believe this is a brilliant piece of work. Actually, I was telling Tendai, I've been writing poems for a long time. Usually, I use poetry to express when I'm frustrated, when I'm happy, I write. And so sometimes I write these poems just to let it out. But I've realized she's inspired me. I probably am going to put together my own collection. And it includes a poem that I did on Lucifer Mandembo. I established that he was still alive. He got caught up in the UK. His family flew back home, and then while he was in Spain, there was the outbreak of COVID. So he writes a poem thinking that he's going to die. It's actually a letter that he writes to his family and so on and so forth.
Jack?
Thank you. With no futures, of course. I think this would be my first poem to be published publicly. And I spoke because where I come from, I'm a kid. So I spoke to people. So having to write this poem, it was an inspiration from what we do every day, what we see every day. And if you see, poets are more amazing than musicians. But the difference is that you are written in your own comfort zone, and when it comes to music, there's a lot of flavor into it. I was talking to Tendai the other day, and we were listening to Oliver talking to Peace, to Pete One Day. You know, if you listen to that song, and if you're not touched by the song, then something is wrong with you. It talks about child women abuse. So when you read this book, you can actually see that it's a combination of different spheres of thought, be it social, political, and also talk of marriages in general. I think you have read one a poem here which was talking about a broken marriage. It's a subject that in many societies these days we don't talk about, but that's the reality of things. This is what is happening. So sometimes it's another way of sending the message to the public or the general populace to say, look, there are so many untold stories, but here we are and we are speaking, and we don't speak with fear, we speak as leaders. You know, like if you look at the work of Damaso Marachera, if Damaso Marachera was in America or in England, he would be on the same list with Michael Jackson, because his writing was no filter at all. So today we might be, I think I need to talk about the Mgosh. It's a legacy that was done. So for us to speak on the same platform, it's actually a privilege, because we are riding on a foundation that we know this is a strong foundation. So every other poem that you read in this book, it's just the beginning of poems. So we feel encouraged that from now going forward, you might be hearing like he said he's going to write his own book. He got the inspiration, probably thought this was going to die in the news, but actually it's here. And he feels like he's going to write. And I think I'm going to write my own. As far as legacies are concerned, because if you look at traditions in our society, in our culture, in our own upbringing, we do really rely on legacies. And some of them that you don't really, they separate families. So we need to write more about these things and see where we can get to. Thank you.
I hope this book inspires you to speak. I hope it inspires you to write. I hope it inspires you to be creative. I won't say much more in this section, but want to echo what a few of my co-authors have said, which is to say, Mama Jesesi, you're a legend to us. It is an honor to write under the banner of the name you carry. We know Papa is not here, but you are here. And as you carry this, you have no idea how much of a privilege this is to me and an honor. And thank you for entrusting or accepting this work under your publishing house. I read this poem as a dedication to you and how you have inspired me and many other women. It's titled, I Walk. I walk, my majesty. You see it. You feel it. Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Does it rattle your inner fragility? Am I what you wish to be? My strength, profoundly and firmly plastered on my shoulders, does this confuse you? I walk with my head high in the clouds of possibility. In spite of unjust challenges, I walk. Every step I make measured, steady, and ready for combat. Combat against privilege at any given time. The privilege you willingly use against me, your relentless attempt to dampen my shine, my majesty. Yet still, I'll walk. My burdens and brokenness buried deep inside my cloak of magic and strength. I am not your gentrified migrant. I am not your compliant exotic fetish. My dreams are my own and my aspirations free of self-hate. And so, I walk. Stepping tall with curls and curves, a swing in my strides to the sound of African savannas, perfect harmonies, the song of my voice. Does this annoy you? Does it make you split hairs at the twang of my tongue? My majesty with me, I walk. My talent and beauty transcend the ordinary, an acumen of gold, treasures so rare. Does this threaten you? Does it keep you up at night, scheming on how to dismantle me? Am I what you wish to be? Parroted hails of slurs routinely rise against me. I glide past unjustified tags. I am not your angry female. I am not your baby mom. I am all woman. My color is my own, and so I walk, my majesty.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Tendai and the co-authors, of course, Jack, Kuda, Richard, and Patrick. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the amazing work that they've done. So at this point in time, except for tonight, I'm going to ask all the other co-authors to take their seats, and I'm going to ask tonight to invite our guest of honor tonight to just share with us some words and what she has to say.
It is an absolute honor, Mama, to invite you as our guest of honor this evening to share a few words with us. Mama Jesesi Mungoshi, everyone. Glory be to you.
I am very, very honored to be here and to speak a little bit about what has been going on here. Maybe I should say thank you very much, Tendai, for working with Mungoshi Press. While I've been mourning my husband, my children have been working on the legacy, as maybe we should say. And I'm really grateful because they have been telling me that they've been working on something, but at the back of my head, I was not listening because maybe, like I think I spoke with you, Tendai, the first time I spoke with you when you called me before you came, that I haven't been myself from the time when my best friend left me. So I would not pay attention to so many things, and they would say, Mama, you are getting old. And yet, maybe it was because I felt like everything has been taken away from me, because we were great friends. And just when I was sitting there and she was reading this, the last poem, I walk. It is a very great piece. And it took me back, and I was like feeling, how was he going to say? What was he going to say if he was here? And if he would hear what people are saying. And I also, I have a friend, I'm sure you know, doing. The other thing that got to me was, she has been, there is a poem in, I'm sure it should be one of the one you wrote, which speaks about child abuse, molesting, and you know, it's not only women, it's not only female people who get abused. Also men get abused, even in relationships, even in the houses. But then maybe we have gone too much in thinking only women are the only people who can be abused. But with me, I feel like men and women are also abused. There are women who are very harsh in the houses, so much that men would not speak. They would want people like Tendai to speak on behalf of them. So abuse is not only for women.
You're right.
Yes. I think I haven't yet gone through with the poems. It was good for me if I had also gone through with the poems, and then maybe I would have read one of the poems in that book, but I haven't. They didn't give me enough time to go through the book. The Mungoshis who are here, they didn't give me a piece, and Tendai was even saying to me, oh, they didn't give you a copy of that book. And I said, no, I didn't receive any copy of the book. So I didn't have time to read the book through. I want to say you have done something, I should call, you have done something great. And I would rather we say encourage each other to do more of that and to make people aware of what is happening in our societies. And maybe, like she said, it should stop. Abuse should stop. People should speak out through writing, through poetry, through maybe stage work, through film. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mama. And we all know we're talking about Charles. We're not going to go back to you. Thank you, Mama. It is an honor. And you know what? I love that. In spite of the fact that you haven't read through it all, there was a poem called Walking Whiskers that Jack McCarthy co-wrote. That is exactly about that, about domestic violence against men. So thank you so much for highlighting that. I'm glad I kind of tuned into the sentiment as well in this book. It's such an honor, Mama, to have you with us today.
Round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen, for having this performing. And we're just going to do a little something special. If you would just play some music for the next few minutes.
Avana zvishungurudza futi.